Donald Trump is constantly bragging about how he gives money to charities. So the Washington Post has been investigating if that's true. That seems like it might be helpful. Look, it's helpful to find out if it's true or not. And if Donald Trump is right and you're a Donald Trump supporter, you would find that investigation to be very helpful because they'll find out he did give the money and you'll say, I told you so, right? So now we know that recently Washington Post and many other media outlets kept asking Donald Trump, hey, you said you did that fundraising for the veterans a long time ago, months ago, instead of doing the debate on Fox News, and you said you raised $6 million. Where is it? And he said, oh, I gave it a long time ago. They're like, no, seriously, not I kind of gave it. Where's the evidence that you gave it? Finally, he got a little less than $6 million, including $1 million of his own money. Now, it was super obvious he was shamed into it because he sent it the day before the press conference. What happened? I thought you said you sent it a long time ago. No, it turns out you sent it after, weeks after, the media kept asking you, where is it, where is it, where is it? And finally they shamed you into it. But fine, I'll take it, great, congratulations, Donald Trump. Sent in $1 million. By the way, later we found out it was to some groups that are hired people that also work for Donald Trump. But it doesn't matter. I'll take the $1 million. Thank you for giving it to the veterans. Fantastic. And by the way, there are parts of this report where you'll see he has given some money in the past, and we'll give you exactly how much and the nuance behind it. But first, let's go to what's been happening since 2007, recently, when he is constantly talking about his largesse. In fact, let's go back a little further to start this story. Washington Post explains, in the 15 years prior to the veterans donation, Trump promised to donate earnings from a wide variety of his money-making enterprises. The Apprentice, Trump Vodka, Trump University, a book, another book. If he had honored all those pledges, Trump's gifts to charity would have topped $8.5 million. Well, let's see if that's the case. But in the 15 years prior to the veterans' gift, public records show that Trump donated about $2.8 million through a foundation set up to give his money away. Less than a third of the pledged amount, and nothing since 2009. Records show Trump has given nothing to his foundation since 2008. Okay, so now, first off, 2.8 is nowhere near 8.5. So him saying, oh, I'm giving it, in a best case scenario, he only meant it about a third of the time. Now, it turns out a lot of that 2.8 didn't come from Donald Trump, and it turns out that a lot of it went to charities that wound up helping Donald Trump and his family. You'll see that in a second. But one thing is clear. Since 2008, he hasn't put anything into his charity. So now you often see if these reports are right or not based on the reaction that the candidate gives. Now, of course, they all deny and say it's outrageous, etc. But in this case, they said Trump and his staff were adamant that he has given away millions privately off the foundation's books. Now, even if you're a Trump supporter, does that sound true to you? This guy who brags about everything. Oh, yeah, I give money to charity. I'm winning. I'm great. I'm the best. I'm the best winner there ever was. I'm tremendous. He's going to do it quietly because he wouldn't want to brag. No, you don't even believe that. But even so, even if you thought he's an angel behind the scenes and he quietly gives money to charity, but he doesn't want the credit while running for president, even though he constantly asks for the credit saying, I give to charity, you should give me all the credit. Literally after the veterans thing, he said, I can't believe they're not giving me enough credit. That's the guy who would give away money privately. Okay, but even if you thought that, why wouldn't he give it through his own foundation? He set up a foundation to give to charity. Why would he do it off the books through something else? I got news for you, because he ain't doing it. Since 2008, he hasn't given. Okay, now there's going to be a small caveat to that, so hold. We're going to give you all the facts here. Now, Washington Post explains that Trump won't release his tax returns, which would confirm such gifts, and his staff won't supply details. So you could solve this overnight. Here's my taxes, here's all the charity I gave, hashtag suck it. Okay, you could embarrass the Washington Post, anybody else reporting on this, by simply showing us your tax. Otherwise, there's no way of knowing. But Hope Hicks, his spokesperson, says, no, there's, even with the tax returns, there's no way you could ever figure it out. She says, there's no way for you to know or understand. Hope, I got news for you. It's not that complicated. If we see his tax returns, we'll both know and understand immediately. A lot of people give to charity. He's not the only one. In fact, he's one of the few that claim to be anywhere near this rich that gives this little. Okay, I'm going to give you context in that in a second, but there's no magic here. It's not quantum physics. It's super easy to understand if you just give us the tax returns. Okay, or, look, it's not about like somehow getting the tax returns. Show us any evidence of it. In fact, the Post contacted 167 charities searching for evidence of personal gifts from Trump in the period between 2008 and this May. The Post sought out charities that had some link to Trump, either because he had given them his foundation's money, appeared at their charity galas, or praised them publicly. Oh, and they found one. Okay, all right, good. Which one? What is it? The search turned up just one donation in the period, a 2009 gift between $5,000 and $9,999 to the Police Athletic League of New York City. So since 2008, he's given one donation, claimed that he gave away millions, but one for under $10,000. And that's to the cops. That's in essence saying, hey, cops, make sure you look out for me. It's almost like getting more private security. Private security would cost him a hell of a lot more than that. That's his form of charity, but I'm not done yet. By the way, let me give you context on that before I give you more of the evidence. You know that, and the Washington Post explains, the person that's theoretically right under him in the richest people in the country is a hedge fund giant. That guy's actually wealthy, unlike Donald Trump, who's clearly lying about the money he has. And we'll get to why he's lying about the charities in a second that's related to that. But that guy, in just 2013, he also has his own endowment for charity. You know how much he gave? $120 million. So one guy gives $120 million in charity because he's got a lot of money and he's a good guy. You might agree or disagree with his politics, but at least he gives a ton of money to charity. Donald Trump, $10,000 at best in one of those years. You know why he's not giving the money, other than being a cheap bastard and a scam artist? Because he's not that rich. He wants to keep the money because he needs the money. All right. In fact, the Post explains, these promises seem designed to reassure potential customers and voters to reconcile the two sides of Trump's public persona. On one hand, Trump said he had so much money he didn't need more. But on the other hand, he was always selling something. That's right, because his 4 real businesses went bankrupt. He always says, I'm a savvy businessman. I took advantage of the laws. And it's good business. Wait, you know what's better business? Not going bankrupt. That's infinitely better business. But he can't manage his way out of a paper bag. That's why he needs all these scams. Oh, I'm going to sell steaks. I'm going to sell water. I don't know. I'm going to sell vodka. He tried to sell a Monopoly set branded Trump. You know what? The company that was trying to sell it for him said it felt like it was nailed to the wall. No one would buy it. You couldn't move it off the shelves no matter what you did. He is such a grotesque failure as a businessman. That's why he has to do scams like Trump University. Oh, come on, I'll teach you all the tricks. We're not going to teach him anything. Just take as much money as there. No billionaire is doing a scam university. They don't need to. They already have the money. Okay. Now let's go back to the early 2000s. He's on Howard Stern's program. He says about Apprentice, you're getting paid over $2.5 million. Trump says, yeah, I don't do it for that. I'm giving the money to charity. And then he named AIDS research and the Police Athletic League, that's his go-to crutch. That year, Trump's foundation appears to have given $1,000 to AIDS research and $106,000 to the Police Athletic League. Look, God bless, $106,000 is a lot of money. For us, that's a tremendous amount of money. If you have an actual $10 billion, that's nothing. But I'll take it. Any money to charity is a good thing. He's, again, using the cops in New York as basically private security. But again, I'll take it. But he brags about giving money to AIDS. When Stern asks him, which charities are you giving to? Oh, I'm giving to AIDS charities. He makes at least $2.5 million in Apprentice. He gave $1,000 to AIDS. And that's one of the charities he named. Total scam artist. Okay. When asked about this, Alan Weisberg, the Tribe Organization chief financial officer, said about the donations and charity, we want to keep them private. We want to keep them quiet. He doesn't want other charities to see it. Then it becomes like a feeding frenzy. Yeah, oh no, totally, yeah. I mean, but wait, those are public. $1,000 you give to AIDS is public. Because that's one of the few charities you actually gave to. So you're like, yeah, I gave $1,000. Woohoo! Yeah, this braggart wants to keep everything quiet. You know how silly that is. Okay, now let's go back. Because, by the way, the reason we're going back is we're trying to find evidence of him giving any money. And there is some money here, right? Since 2008, almost nothing. I'm trying to be fair to him by going backwards. All right, so from 1987 to 1991, Trump gave away $1.9 million of his money to the Donald J. Trump Foundation. Finally, thank God. And he did. Back then, he had a little bit more money. That's before all the bankruptcies hit him. By the way, you say, see, he had a lot of money back then. That's because he's a savvy businessman. No, his daddy left him anywhere between $40 to $200 million. That's why he had the money. Then he bankrupted himself over and over again, and then he stopped giving money to charity. But hey, the $1.9 million back there, good job. Good job, Donald Trump. All the credit in the world for back there. Now, hold all the credit in the world. Let's find out who he gave to. Some is good, some, okay. He gave $101,000 to veterans back then. Great. According to a post-analysis of tax records from that time. He gave $26,000 to the homeless. That doesn't seem very much, but okay, good, still some money. He gave $12,450 to AIDS charities. He gave $4,250 to multiple sclerosis research, the amount for those categories was $143,700, or nearly 8% of the total. Wait a minute. Where did the 92% go? Okay, this is interesting. Much of the rest went to charities tied to Trump's life. Society galas, his high school, his college, a foundation for indigent real estate brokers. That breaks my heart. The School of American Ballet, where Ivanka Trump studied from 1981 to 1991, got $16,750. By the way, that's more than he gave to AIDS charities. A private school that educated Trump's son, Eric, got $40,000, more than the homeless and AIDS contributions combined. He calls it charity. He gives it to fucking galas that he attends. Those balls where they dress up in tuxes and Trump and Hillary Clinton get together and have a grand old time. And all the society in New York eat caviar, whatever they do, drink their champagne and go, I do declare, what a smashing charity we have here. He gives to his own kids' schools. He gives to the ballet schools. It's all about Donald Trump. Look, I'm not telling you this if you're a Trump supporter because I want to trick you. I'm telling you this because I don't want him to trick you. Like, this is the scam that he runs. That's how he got all the money out of Trump University for those poor kids and poor people who believed in him, and they invested their life savings in him, and he robbed them blind. That's what he's now proposing to do to the entire country. Don't believe the hype. Everything Donald Trump has done is about Donald Trump. If you can't see that through this story, you're purposely turning your eyes away from it. The reality is, he doesn't do all of these different projects so that he can give to charity. He does it so he can get the money because he desperately needs the money. He probably blew a lot of his daddy's money. We know he went through 4 bankruptcies. He's a proven loser, and he's too embarrassed to tell you. Instead, he goes around going, I'm a winner, I'm a winner. Hey, Donald, you know what? You could prove me wrong tomorrow. Put in your tax returns, go, hey, you son of a bitch, here's how much I gave to charity, and here's how much I'm worth. Ha ha, I'm worth 10 billion, 5 billion, 1 billion. There's no way he's worth $1 billion. He's a supposed billionaire. He's an alleged billionaire. He ain't worth squat. So yes, he's got some of daddy's money still left. And some people are still foolish enough to pay for his name so they can put it on buildings. They don't let him run the buildings. If they let him build the buildings, they'd go bankrupt immediately. No, they just take his name, but now that name isn't worth very much either. This guy's a 4-time loser. So understand what you're actually buying into.